Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to episode 2 of MASHUPS with our first ride that we are mashing up, which is Juju. And those of you who are just joining the series may not know that in the last episode we did a mashup, or we started on a mashup of an Intamin ride and Prior and Church. So this is basically supposed to be something like a megalite mixed with a sort of 1920s Prior and Church ride with lots of curves and this sort of compact layout that Prior and Church were really known for. So the last time we got everything done, we got everything built in FVD, and this time we are working on supporting this beast. So I've said this plenty of times in the past, but in general, I'm really not a supports guy. I do it. I don't do custom supports very often. I usually tend to just use general support or the in-game supports whenever possible. Occasionally, if I really want to do something special, I'll do the custom support. So in this case, I did go ahead and do some custom supporting. So you see right here, the first thing that I worked on was the lift hill. And what I was going for here was a combination of sort of what the supports for Puritan looks like, the megalite in Europe, and also I wanted to do a combination of that and the supports that Church used on the airplane at Rye in New York. So to start off, I did this sort of triangular structure that you can find on Puritan, and I was right there. I was just going for a little bit of if you look at that ride supports, there is a support that comes off at an angle about 45 degrees. I was trying it out. It didn't work too well, so it took me quite a while to do this part. Actually, this is where I spent most of the time, because later on in the ride, it really didn't require too much custom supporting. It's fairly low to the ground oftentimes, so I just used these standard split supports for most of it. It was mostly just this first turnaround, the part where it crosses over the track that comes out of the station towards the lift, and then the turnaround on the far end that required just a little bit of custom supporting. So once I get the supports holding up the lift finished, then I moved on to supporting that first turn. And I said in the last video that one of the things I did here was Church was known for creating a sort of balance in his structure. So that was one of the reasons I made this wide turn at the bottom of the tighter turn, because it sort of balances out the height of the top turn. And I was trying to go for a little bit of an airplane feel here with these supports. I'm not sure if it's 100% successful. It looks all right. I kind of like two things about this. I like the flying through the supports at the end, and I also kind of like how these supports remind me of the support structures that you often find on Schwarzkopf rides, the portable coasters. So it sort of works here, except for the very last one. I think I might go ahead and finish that. Or remove that, rather. I was considering for a long time doing more of a lattice work support to give it more of a look of a traditional wooden coaster. I did that once before on a steel ride that I was trying to make look more like the old Crystal Beach Comet when it stood on the shores of Lake Erie. I don't think I'm going to do that in this one. I think I'm going to save that for some other project sometime in the future. I kind of like how this looks all right here, again, except for this final support, which I hadn't even finished in that video, but I got to finish that up. And I did, of course, do the testing to make sure that everything fits, because some of these supports are pretty tight. So with all that being said, and speaking of Puritan, I think, first of all, that ride looks really fun. I think it looks like a fun ride. So next year, I know I have a few people from Europe watching my channel. So next year, I really want to go to Europe. I want to visit a few parks in Europe. The only caveat is that I will most likely be going with someone who is not an enthusiast. So it'll be my first time to Europe. I definitely want to hit up some parks. I was thinking originally, the whole idea behind the trip was to go to Leesburg in Sweden. I really want to go on Helix. That's a ride I really would, I'd really be going to Europe to ride that. And of course, if I'm in the area, I'll go on Wildfire while I'm there. So that's two parks in Sweden. I was thinking of going to Sweden and Germany for my first trip to Europe. So in Germany, I was thinking of hitting up Phantasialand, obviously, and maybe I'm not 100% certain where else I should go. So let's say I have 4 trips or 4 parks I can go to in Sweden and Germany, and Sweden we've already got covered. So if anybody has any suggestions for maybe the 4th park I could go to in Germany aside from Phantasialand, I'd like to hear it. Alternatively, I might go to Belgium or the Netherlands or somewhere, since that's a little bit closer to Sweden. We'll see. I've got some plans to go to a few parks in Europe, though, just because I've never been and I want to go to Europe and see what it's all about. And I can speak French fairly well, or passably anyway. So I would like to go to France since I've never been there. So if you have any suggestions for where I should go, let me know in the comments. I'd be glad to hear it. Up next, in terms of what's coming up with the channel, we're going to have a POV of this ride. This is going to be a really short series. Like I said in the last episode, it's only going to be 3 episodes. So we're going to have a POV of this. I'll finish up the Brush Ridge bobsleds as well. That also is going to be a short series. At some point, I need to get back into Lucky Mountain and start working on some more building of that. I think perhaps I may have bit off just a little more than I could chew on it. So I'm just going to try to take my time with it. When I feel like it, I'll do it, work on it, because this is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be relaxing. I'm not trying to get stressed out over this. And then I am going to Six Flags Great America in 3 weeks. I have never been to that park, so I'm excited about it. It's the first time I've ever been there. I've heard it's one of the better Six Flags parks, so I'm looking forward to that. So when I get back, I will have a review. I'll have some reviews of the rides. I'll talk about what went on at the park and so forth and so on. So those are at least 4 things that are coming up on the channel, and of course, I'll always continue to build on FVD elements. So if there's anything you want to see on that, just let me know. If you have any suggestions, by the way, about these supports, feel free to let me know about those as well, because again, I am not a support guy, and I realize that that's not my strong suit. So my strong suit tends to be scenery, which seems like a little strange since I haven't really done anything in this, and I already said a POV is coming, but I definitely have an idea of what I'm going to do with this. So that's going to be it for this episode. We're going to take a look at some glamour shots now, and then the next time we see this build, it will be for the POV. So take care and enjoy the ride.